Have you ever felt like someone you care about, whether a partner, friend, or colleague, has started losing interest? Maybe the texts are less frequent, the conversations feel strained, or the bond just doesn't seem as strong as it once was. It's a tough and frustrating experience, and in today's world, it's easy to feel the urge to chase after them or try to win them back with desperate measures. But what if I told you there's a better way? A way to naturally regain their attention and interest, all without resorting to manipulation or unnecessary drama. Enter Stoicism, an ancient philosophy with timeless wisdom that can help you navigate not just relationships, but life itself. Stoicism teaches us how to cultivate emotional control, self-discipline, and resilience. By embracing its principles, you can become the kind of person who effortlessly regains the respect and interest of others, not through desperate tactics, but through genuine growth and composure. In today's video, we're going to dive into 9 Stoic-inspired strategies to help you win back someone's interest. No tricks, no gimmicks, just real, lasting change. These principles will guide you to focus on what you can control, improve yourself, and cultivate the kind of energy that naturally draws others in. If you're ready to transform your approach to relationships and grow into a stronger, more confident version of yourself, this is the perfect place to start. So, hit that like button if you're excited to learn, drop a comment with your thoughts or experiences, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful tips on how to live a life of wisdom and purpose. Let's get started. 1. Embrace the dichotomy of control. Imagine this. You're dealing with someone who seems to have lost interest, and your first instinct might be to obsess over every little detail. Should you call more? Text more? Try to fix things? But here's the thing, none of that is in your control. You can't force someone to feel something they don't. This is where Stoicism steps in with one of its most powerful principles, the dichotomy of control. The dichotomy of control teaches us to focus only on what we can control and let go of everything else. It's a game changer when it comes to relationships. If you spend all your energy worrying about how someone else feels or trying to manipulate the situation to regain their attention, you're only creating stress and anxiety for yourself. Instead, Stoicism urges us to shift our focus inward, to improve ourselves, handle our own emotions, and act with integrity. This doesn't mean ignoring the other person entirely. It means recognizing that you can't control their thoughts, their feelings, or their actions, but you absolutely can control how you show up. Think about it. When you stop trying to make someone like you again, you create space for authentic, natural connection. This is the paradoxical beauty of the dichotomy of control. By letting go of the need to control others, you actually gain control over your own behavior, mindset, and energy. You stop relying on someone else's validation to feel good about yourself. Instead, you begin to act from a place of confidence and self-worth. So, how can you apply this in your situation? The first step is to acknowledge that you can't control how someone feels or how they choose to engage with you. You can't change the past, and you can't force them to be interested. But you can control your response. You can choose to be the best version of yourself, regardless of how others behave. When you focus on improving your own mindset and actions, whether it's through self-reflection, building new habits, or pursuing passions that make you feel fulfilled, you naturally become more attractive and interesting. Moreover, the more you detach from trying to control the other person's behavior, the more relaxed and confident you become. People are drawn to those who are at peace with themselves, those who don't come off as needy or desperate. And here's the kicker. When you stop chasing after someone's interest and instead focus on your own growth and well-being, you create a sense of mystery and allure. You're not desperately seeking approval, you're living your life with intention, and that energy is magnetic. By practicing the dichotomy of control, you'll find that the very act of letting go brings you closer to the kind of connection you actually want. So, next time you find yourself obsessing over why someone isn't responding or trying to manipulate the situation, take a step back. Ask yourself, what can I control right now? Focus on your own actions, thoughts, and growth. You'll not only regain your peace of mind, but you'll also become a person who naturally attracts interest, respect, and genuine connection without having to try so hard. Second practice, amor fati, love of fate. Imagine this. You've noticed that someone you care about seems to be pulling away, and instead of feeling defeated or desperate, you embrace it. You might think, how on earth could this situation be anything but bad? But here's where Stoic wisdom takes a completely different approach. Enter amor fati, or the love of fate. This Stoic concept teaches us to accept everything that happens in life, even the difficult moments, as an opportunity to grow and learn. It encourages us to embrace our experiences, both the good and the bad, as part of our journey, because everything, yes, even the setbacks, has value. So how can this work when it comes to regaining someone's interest? Well, rather than viewing their distance or disinterest as something tragic, amor fati asks you to love the situation as it is. That doesn't mean you have to be happy that the person is pulling away or that you ignore the hurt you feel. Instead, it means accepting it fully and understanding that this is part of your path, an experience that can teach you something valuable about yourself, about relationships, and about how you want to show up in the world. By adopting this mindset, you free yourself from the emotional roller coaster of worrying about outcomes. Instead of obsessing over how you can fix the situation or win them back, you begin to focus on what you can learn from it. Maybe you realize you've been neglecting your own needs, or perhaps you start to understand that you've been putting too much of your worth into someone else's approval. This kind of self-reflection can be incredibly powerful, leading to growth and a stronger, more grounded sense of self. When you start to truly practice amor fati, you stop seeing life's challenges as problems and start seeing them as opportunities. You no longer need to chase after someone's approval or try to fix things in a desperate way. Instead, you embrace the situation for what it is and allow yourself to grow and improve as a result. And let's be honest, when people see that you're not desperate, that you're not emotionally dependent on them, it becomes oddly attractive. People are drawn to those who are secure and unshakable, who can face challenges without falling apart. So, how do you begin practicing amor fati in your own life right now? Start by reframing the situation. Instead of asking, why are they losing interest? Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Reflect on how you can grow and evolve through this experience. Every challenge can be a stepping stone to a better version of you. Now I'm curious, how do you think adopting amor fati could change your perspective on relationships or any current challenges you're facing? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and see how you're applying this Stoic wisdom to your own life. Let's start a conversation. 3. Master your emotions. When someone you care about seems to be losing interest, it's easy to let your emotions run wild. You might feel anxious, hurt, or even desperate, and that emotional turbulence can lead to reactive behavior, sending impulsive texts, over-explaining yourself, or even acting out of character. But here's the thing. Stoicism teaches us that our emotions don't have to control us. In fact, one of the core principles of Stoicism is emotional mastery, the ability to observe your emotions without being overwhelmed by them and to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This is a game changer when it comes to regaining someone's interest, because nothing is more attractive than someone who remains calm, composed, and in control, even in tough situations. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them or pretending you don't feel hurt or frustrated. It means choosing how you respond to those feelings. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So, instead of letting your feelings dictate your actions, you can decide how to respond. When you feel that pang of anxiety, take a step back and recognize it for what it is. Just a feeling, not a fact. You don't need to act on it immediately. Instead, you can pause, breathe, and reflect on how to proceed in a way that aligns with your values and self-respect. Let's say you notice that the person you're interested in has become distant. Instead of immediately panicking or sending multiple follow-up messages, you take a moment to acknowledge your emotions. You might feel hurt, frustrated, or confused, but those emotions don't have to dictate your behavior. Instead of spiraling into a reactive state, you choose to focus on what you can control, your response. You might decide to give them space, to focus on improving yourself, or to shift your attention to something else that brings you joy and fulfillment. The beauty of emotional mastery is that it not only makes you more attractive, it makes you more resilient. People are naturally drawn to those who maintain their composure, who don't let life's challenges break them. By practicing emotional control, you show that you're not dependent on others for your happiness or stability. This is incredibly powerful because it gives off the energy of someone who is grounded, self-sufficient, and confident. Additionally, mastering your emotions allows you to avoid unnecessary drama. Reacting impulsively can lead to saying things you don't mean or making decisions you'll regret. But when you pause, reflect, and act thoughtfully, you're more likely to make choices that align with your long-term goals and well-being, rather than getting caught in short-term emotional impulses. So, how can you begin practicing emotional mastery? Next time you feel that rush of emotions when someone pulls away, try taking a deep breath and asking yourself, how can I respond in a way that reflects my best self? This simple shift in perspective can help you regain control over your emotions and make decisions that not only benefit you, but also naturally attract the interest and respect of others. If you've ever had to navigate a tough emotional situation, how did you manage your feelings? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your experiences and insights on mastering emotions in challenging moments. Practice self-reflection and improvement. When someone loses interest in you, it can be tempting to immediately blame them or feel like something is wrong with you. But here's the truth. The best way to win back someone's attention is not by obsessing over their behavior, but by looking inward. This is where self-reflection and self-improvement come in, two incredibly powerful tools taught by Stoicism. Instead of feeling discouraged or helpless, use this moment as an opportunity to take a closer look at yourself and ask, how can I grow from this? The Stoics believed that the path to a better life starts with understanding yourself. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, wrote in his Meditations that we should waste no time on what is not in our control, and instead focus on improving our character and actions. When you practice self-reflection, you take the time to evaluate your behaviors, mindset, and actions. Are there areas where you could be doing better? Are there habits or thought patterns that might be contributing to the distance between you and the person you're trying to connect with? Self-reflection isn't about self-criticism, it's about honest, constructive examination. Take some time to think about the dynamics of the relationship. Were there moments where you could have communicated more effectively? Perhaps you were too available or not present enough, or maybe you were too focused on pleasing them instead of being your true self. The goal isn't to beat yourself up over past mistakes, but rather to learn from them and use them to become a better version of yourself. By committing to self-improvement, you not only become a more attractive person, but you also start to regain your confidence. It's incredibly empowering to realize that you don't have to depend on someone else's interest to feel good about yourself. You are already enough. This shift in mindset is magnetic. People are drawn to those who are focused on their own growth and who have a clear sense of purpose. When you become the kind of person who is constantly striving to improve, both internally and externally, it naturally makes you more appealing to others. But how do you start this process? Begin by setting goals for yourself, both big and small. Focus on things that contribute to your personal growth, whether it's developing a new skill, taking care of your mental and physical health, or learning to communicate more effectively. Even small changes in your mindset or behavior can make a huge difference. The key is to make continuous improvement a part of your daily routine. Remember, it's the journey of becoming better that will ultimately make you more interesting, charismatic, and most importantly, self-sufficient. And don't forget the power of reflection. At the end of each week, take a moment to ask yourself, what did I learn about myself this week? And how can I improve next week? This kind of self-awareness not only helps you grow, but it also makes you more conscious of the energy you bring to your relationships. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you start to attract people who respect you for who you are and are naturally drawn to your energy. Now, I want to hear from you. How do you practice self-reflection and self-improvement? Drop a comment below and let's talk about how you're working to grow and evolve. 5. Cultivate patience and detachment. We've all been there. When someone seems to be losing interest, the immediate reaction is often to push harder. You might send more texts, plan more activities, or try to force things back to how they were. But here's a crucial lesson from Stoicism. Patience and detachment are powerful tools for winning back someone's interest. Instead of frantically chasing after someone's affection or approval, Stoicism teaches us the value of taking a step back, trusting in the process, and allowing things to unfold naturally. Patience isn't just about waiting around passively. It's about having the inner strength to resist the urge to control the outcome. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Often, the stress we feel when someone pulls away comes from the fear of what might happen, the fear of losing them completely. However, by practicing patience, you give yourself the emotional space to stay calm and centered, rather than reacting impulsively based on fear or anxiety. This shift in mindset allows you to be more present, grounded, and attractive to others because you're no longer coming from a place of desperation. Now, detachment plays a key role in this process. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means that you learn to detach your happiness and sense of worth from another person's behavior. When you practice detachment, you stop relying on external validation for your emotional well-being. Instead, you focus on your own growth, joy, and sense of purpose, no matter what happens in the relationship. This creates a sense of self-sufficiency that is incredibly appealing. People are drawn to those who don't seem overly dependent on them for validation or happiness. And when you practice detachment, you radiate confidence and independence. One of the most powerful aspects of practicing detachment is that it allows you to let go of expectations. When you release your grip on how things should unfold, you free yourself from the emotional roller coaster of highs and lows. Instead of stressing over whether someone is texting you back, you can choose to focus on living your life to the fullest, pursuing your passions, strengthening your relationships with others, and developing yourself as a person. When you let go of the need for constant validation, you naturally become more attractive because you're not chasing after attention. It flows to you organically. So, how do you practice patience and detachment in real life? The next time you feel the urge to message someone who is pulling away, take a deep breath. Instead of reacting immediately, give yourself time to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, am I acting out of fear or out of genuine connection? Remember, detachment is about trusting that everything will unfold as it's meant to, and that your happiness doesn't depend on the actions of others. When you practice these Stoic virtues, you'll notice that you're not only able to win back someone's interest more effortlessly, but you're also becoming the kind of person who radiates self-confidence and calm. So, take your time, trust the process, and let things flow naturally. I'd love to hear how you practice patience and detachment in your own life. Drop a comment below. Let's discuss how this approach has helped you in your relationships. 6. Show genuine gratitude and humility. When someone seems to be losing interest, it's easy to start feeling like you've been taken for granted. You might feel hurt, frustrated, or even angry. But here's a powerful Stoic strategy that can shift your entire perspective and draw others back in. Show genuine gratitude and humility. Instead of focusing on what you feel is lacking or unfair in the situation, try practicing gratitude for what you've had and humility in the face of the current circumstances. This simple shift in mindset can be incredibly attractive, and it shows others that you're grounded, mature, and emotionally strong. Gratitude isn't just about saying thank you in the traditional sense. It's about recognizing the value in every experience, even the tough ones. The Stoics believed in appreciating everything that life offers, including challenges. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "The universe is change, life is opinion." What this means is that how we interpret the events in our lives is entirely up to us. Instead of seeing someone's distance as something negative, you can choose to see it as an opportunity for growth and reflection. You can be grateful for the time and connection you had, and acknowledge that all relationships, whether they last forever or not, teach us valuable lessons about ourselves. Now, let's talk about humility. Humility is a key virtue in Stoicism, and it's something that can set you apart in relationships. Instead of adopting an attitude of entitlement or expectation, Stoicism encourages us to approach every situation with an open heart and a sense of humility. When you approach others with humility, you're not demanding their time or attention. You're acknowledging that they are their own person with their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Humility invites people to feel comfortable around you because it creates an atmosphere of respect and understanding. What does this look like in practice? When someone starts pulling away, instead of demanding answers or questioning their feelings, take a moment to express your gratitude for the time and moments you've shared. A simple message that says, "I'm really grateful for the connection we've had and all the great times together," can work wonders. This isn't about trying to win them back with flattery. It's about expressing authentic appreciation for their presence in your life, regardless of the outcome. Gratitude disarms defensiveness, opens hearts, and shows maturity. Humility also means accepting the current situation without trying to force it into what you want it to be. You don't have to chase after someone to prove your worth. Instead, you simply show up with respect, appreciation, and humility, allowing them to come to their own conclusions. This is a powerful way to rebuild a sense of interest, because it signals that you are secure in yourself and do not rely on others to validate your sense of self-worth. So, how can you start practicing gratitude and humility today? Begin by taking a step back from the situation and appreciating the positive aspects of the connection you had. Express genuine thanks without expecting anything in return. Allow yourself to approach the situation with humility, knowing that whatever happens, you have grown through the experience. I'd love to hear your thoughts. How has practicing gratitude and humility affected your relationships? Drop a comment below and share your experiences. 7. Take responsibility for your actions. When someone loses interest, it's easy to blame them or point fingers, but here's a game-changing Stoic lesson. Take responsibility for your actions. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control other people's thoughts or feelings, but we can control how we show up in the world and how we behave. The key to reconnecting with someone or winning back their interest is to own your part in the situation and take full responsibility for how you've acted, whether it's positive or negative. This isn't about self-blame or beating yourself up. It's about maturity and self-awareness. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus believed that the first step to inner peace and growth is recognizing that we are responsible for our choices, reactions, and behaviors. If things have shifted in the relationship, it's important to ask yourself, what could I have done differently? Or, how have my actions impacted this situation? By doing this, you move away from a victim mindset and step into a place of empowerment. Taking responsibility means owning your mistakes without excuses. If you've said something that hurt the other person or acted in a way that caused distance, acknowledge it openly. By doing so, you're showing maturity, emotional intelligence, and strength. People respect those who can admit when they're wrong and show a willingness to improve. Instead of deflecting blame or making excuses, a simple apology or expression of accountability can go a long way in rebuilding trust and showing the other person that you are committed to bettering yourself. But taking responsibility doesn't stop at acknowledging mistakes. It's also about taking ownership of your behavior in the present. In other words, it's about showing up differently, not just talking about how you've changed. This is where the real magic happens. Actions speak louder than words, and if you want to win someone's interest back, you need to show them through your behavior that you are actively working on yourself. Whether that means being more attentive, more respectful of their boundaries, or more considerate of their needs, the key is consistent action. Moreover, taking responsibility also means staying true to your values. Sometimes people lose interest because we've compromised too much of who we are to please them. By taking responsibility for who you are, your needs, desires, and boundaries, you not only show that you respect yourself, but you also create a space where others can respect you in return. This alignment between your actions and your values builds authenticity and creates a strong foundation for any relationship. So, how can you start taking responsibility today? Start by reflecting on the role you play in the current situation. Are there areas where you can improve? Are there apologies or conversations that need to happen? Once you recognize your part in the dynamic, take clear, actionable steps to move forward. Owning your actions not only makes you more attractive, but it also attracts people who value honesty and growth. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever taken responsibility for your actions in a way that helped you rebuild a relationship? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. 8. Develop inner strength and resilience. When someone you care about starts pulling away, it can feel like a punch to the gut. But here's a powerful Stoic approach that will not only help you regain their interest, but also transform you into a stronger, more resilient person. Develop inner strength and resilience. Stoicism teaches us that life will always present us with challenges, but how we respond to them defines who we are. Instead of being crushed by the emotional weight of someone's distance, you have the opportunity to build your inner strength and bounce back even better. At the core of Stoic philosophy is the idea of accepting what life throws your way and using it to become more resilient. Seneca, another famous Stoic philosopher, said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." The idea is simple. Challenges, though painful, are opportunities to grow. When you face the discomfort of someone pulling away, instead of collapsing under the weight of disappointment, you can choose to grow stronger emotionally. You can choose to take this as an opportunity to build emotional fortitude, the ability to stay grounded, focused, and at peace, regardless of external circumstances. What does this look like in practice? When someone starts to lose interest, don't let it throw you off balance. Instead, use the experience as a chance to practice resilience. Focus on cultivating a strong sense of self-worth that doesn't depend on anyone else's approval. Remind yourself that your value isn't determined by the attention you receive from others. When you can truly accept that, you'll stop chasing validation and start living from a place of confidence and inner peace. Part of developing resilience also means not taking things personally. When someone pulls away, it's easy to internalize it and believe that you did something wrong or that you're not enough. But this is where your Stoic mindset kicks in. Recognize that someone's change in interest is not a reflection of your worth. It's often a result of factors that are entirely outside of your control. As the Stoics would say, the key is to focus on what you can control: your emotions, your reactions, and your mindset. When you choose not to take things personally, you reclaim your emotional power and fortify your sense of self. Furthermore, resilience doesn't mean you have to be cold or distant. It simply means that you can handle disappointment with grace and move forward without letting it consume you. When you develop inner strength, you begin to approach life with a calm and steady demeanor, no matter what challenges arise. This kind of composure is incredibly attractive because people are naturally drawn to those who are emotionally stable and grounded. So, how do you start building this inner strength? Start by regularly practicing mindfulness, meditation, or journaling to stay connected with your thoughts and emotions. Reflect on the ways you've overcome challenges in the past and remind yourself of your personal resilience. The more you strengthen your inner fortitude, the more naturally you will respond to difficult situations with patience, calm, and confidence. Have you ever faced a tough situation where you had to tap into your inner strength? How did it help you grow? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your experiences and how you practice resilience in your own life. 9. Embody the art of presence. When someone starts losing interest, it's easy to fall into the trap of overthinking or seeking constant reassurance. But what if the key to rekindling their interest was actually much simpler? Being fully present is one of the most powerful tools in both Stoic philosophy and human connection. The Stoics understood that the present moment is the only moment we truly have, and by embracing it with full awareness, we can cultivate deeper connections with others. So, what does it mean to embody the art of presence? It's about showing up, mindfully and authentically, in each moment. When you're present, you're not distracted by worries about the future or ruminating on past mistakes. Instead, you give your full attention to the person in front of you, listening to them, engaging with them, and being genuinely invested in the interaction. People are incredibly drawn to those who can make them feel heard and understood, and this is where the Stoics had it right. By being in the moment, you cultivate a space where authentic connections can grow. The beauty of practicing presence is that it doesn't require you to do anything other than be yourself, fully and authentically. In a world where everyone is glued to their phones or consumed by external distractions, someone who is truly present with you stands out like a beacon. It's about giving undivided attention, whether that's listening intently to what they're saying, maintaining eye contact, or offering thoughtful responses. In relationships, this kind of presence builds trust and emotional intimacy. When someone feels like they're truly seen and valued, it's impossible not to be drawn back into the connection. Another crucial aspect of presence is the ability to be comfortable with silence and vulnerability. Sometimes when someone pulls away, we feel the need to fill the silence with words or gestures to fix things. But the Stoic perspective encourages us to be okay with just being present, even without words. The power of silence is incredibly underrated. It allows both parties to process their thoughts and emotions without the pressure of constant chatter. When you are at ease with silence, you create an environment where true connection can occur naturally. Moreover, practicing presence goes hand in hand with emotional regulation. When you're truly present, you don't let anxiety or insecurity dominate the interaction. Instead, you approach the relationship with a calm, composed energy. The Stoics would say that this is how we practice virtue, by acting in accordance with reason, not allowing our emotions to dictate our behavior. When you respond to challenges from a place of clarity and presence, you show that you are strong, centered, and emotionally intelligent, traits that are naturally appealing. So, how do you start cultivating the art of presence? It's simple. The next time you interact with the person who seems to have lost interest, focus entirely on them. Put away your phone, give them your full attention, and engage with empathy. Let go of any expectation or pressure to fix the situation. Just enjoy the interaction for what it is, in that moment. When you become someone who is fully present, you become someone who is hard to forget, and the attraction will naturally follow. Have you ever experienced a moment where being present made all the difference in a relationship? Drop a comment below and share how you've embraced the art of presence in your life. Conclusion. Master Stoic wisdom to rekindle and strengthen connections. Winning back someone's interest isn't about playing games, acting desperate, or chasing after validation. It's about embodying the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. By embracing the principles of self-reflection, emotional mastery, patience, and presence, you can transform the way you approach relationships and create deeper, more meaningful connections. Stoic wisdom doesn't just help you win back interest, it helps you build the kind of emotional resilience and self-assurance that makes you irresistible not only to others, but also to yourself. As you apply these Stoic principles in your life, remember that growth and connection come from within. When you show up with gratitude, humility, responsibility, and inner strength, you naturally become more attractive, not because you're seeking attention, but because you're focused on becoming the best version of yourself. People are drawn to those who are secure, self-aware, and emotionally mature. So, take these tips to heart and watch how they shift your perspective and interactions. The power to rekindle and sustain any connection lies not in manipulating others, but in transforming your own approach to relationships. It's time to harness the power of Stoic wisdom, cultivate emotional mastery, and start creating the kind of relationships that are strong, fulfilling, and built on mutual respect. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these Stoic principles resonated with you the most, and how will you start applying them in your life? Drop a comment below, and let's continue the conversation. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on building stronger, more resilient relationships.